Hello, everybody, and welcome to our BarCast. This is number 5.
Yes, it
So,
is.
welcome indeed. We've heard a lot of people are listening, so that's good. And we're hoping everyone can give us some feedback on what they want us to talk about. So, obviously, you know me. I'm Mark. I'm my co-host, Chris.
How you doing, all?
So, to start off this podcast, I'm going to be starting off with our topic of who would you be if you were in the mafia?
Are you going with the mafia?
Yeah, because it's not too crime and it's still like a family, so you can be good
Ah,
or bad.
well, let's see. Mafia. Where would I start in the mafia? See, I don't want to be a front guy.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not exactly the most intimidating looking fella.
Hmm.
So I don't think I'd work on the front. I'd work better in the back. And the mafia works a lot with money.
Hmm.
Um, and to avoid the tax man doing
Yeah.
us, because that is actually what they got. What I believe Al Capone and one of the other big famous gangsters in America, they got him on tax evasion.
Hmm.
So I would be the numbers guy to avoid the tax evasion.
That's a fair enough position. And you'd be
Yeah.
safe.
Everyone loves a good money man who keeps things under the wraps.
Hmm.
Um,
And if you can be secretive of it, it's a lucrative business.
exactly. And, I like my spreadsheets, so it'll be easy to track money for me.
Well, that's good. I think
What
for
about you?
myself, well, yeah, myself, I would probably go the lines of not like the leader of the whole group, but I would be someone that's got the charisma and would probably go on, let's say, making the deals with like the charisma, go down and try and say, right, this is what we want, and this is what you could get. It's almost like one of the, I think it would be classed as a point man, where you'd go with people with guns. So if something turned bad, you've got the call of the action. So
Ah.
I would try to be um, peaceful and like negotiate. But if things weren't going my way, then it would be right. This
So
is what's going to happen.
you're quite high on the list then.
Hmm. So
I'd
what I try
still
and
be
be is,
paying your check.
yeah, I would be the one that would be like getting the money for us. So if that included like maybe going in like protection fees, but then I'd also be the one that's talking to them. So I would be charismatic. I can never say that right when I'm on, but I would be good talking out and finding out deals. But that's just me. Obviously, there is risk.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, there's always risk. It's the mafia.
Mm.
I mean, we would need someone who's like quite a strong head who stays in the shadows.
Mm.
But I feel like it'd have to be someone unsuspecting.
Yes, because you wouldn't want to be
You
a
won't want a big
target.
tough guy.
Mm.
I think it should be someone who's actually like small and quiet.
Well,
Because no one expects a small quiet to be in charge.
yeah. And if you can handle phone calls, then that's the best thing.
Mm. But, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Mm. You got any questions for me about any like groups or you reckon?
Okay, do I have any questions for you?
Mm.
Okay, if you were in the since you've gone for mafia, I'm gonna go the other side. What would you be if you're in the police force?
Oh, the police force.
Yeah.
That was always something that I thought about a career at one point. Uh, but then obviously I went tourism. I would probably want to be in the tactics side, but also in the field. So I think I would probably almost go the detective route. So I would be able to do in the office, try and pan out what's the motive, what's this, but also go to the scene and see from my own eyes, well, that's there, that's there. What could have been used for the escape vehicle? What could it? So it would have been like a mix of detective because I can also implement tactics if things were to go. That'd be
Okay.
mine. How about yourself?
Well, being the son of two police officers,
Hmm.
I've heard the stories of the days, but I would probably go for traffic.
Oh, okay.
Like, not for like don't give a damn about parking tickets and all that.
Hmm.
But I want to be the driver when they have to do a chase.
Ooh, nice. Yes.
Like my old man, he taught me. Like I did driving lessons,
Hmm.
but they just teach you the basics of driving.
Yeah. Sure.
Whereas my stepdad, when he was teaching me how to drive, he was taking me down, the country lanes. He was teaching me of like depth perception of driving and
Hmm.
can you fit through the gap? Yeah, sure. I'll think about the turn here, think about the turn here. This is how you do this maneuver. He
Hmm.
was teaching me like the more advanced technical stuff.
Which is
That's
good.
what, and he did that, and I know he could teach me well because he got the top level driving in the police force.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Out. He was like one of the top drivers in Kent
That's pretty good, actually.
on
That's
in on a bike and in a car. So
just for quote's sake. That's not like a push bike. It's actually
no,
like
that's a motorbike.
okay.
As, as
That's
in
pretty good. Like having both skills in both sets.
yeah. So I think I would do him proud by, taking up his driving ways and chasing
Hmm.
down people. And I'd do it like he did as well, because he just gave no care about who he nicked.
Hmm.
Like there was a London mob, a London gang,
Yeah.
and that one of their heads was in prison in Sheppey,
Hmm.
and the wife of this head was going to visit him, speeding, and Paul pulled her over. The the head's wife of a London gang. Like these was like mafia sort of gangs as well.
Oh Christ.
This was like Cray Twin sort of level.
Hmm.
And he went, I don't care. She was speeding in my area.
You got
They,
to.
they actually had
You're
to
not going
move
to get
him.
respected if you let them through.
They they actually had to move him out the area
Oh,
just to be safe.
I was to say yeah.
And then he pulled her over again because he really did not care.
I mean, that's that is what you slightly need for the police force. Ones that are like, well, I don't care where you are. You've done wrong. This is what's going to happen.
Exactly. And no, he kind of stuck to that.
Yeah. It's the only way to actually get proper respect is you're there as the law. You're not
Yeah.
there as someone's. Oh, I'll let you through off and willy nilly. You're there for this is it. All right. So everyone, obviously an update on how we've been doing. Obviously with lockdown, it is tough for everyone still, even though lockdowns have been easing up. Everyone is aware that obviously some countries have been shutting down. Like only a couple of weeks ago, you had like France started nailing down and a load of people coming back from holiday. So then I became more busier because I work at sea of getting people back. Now it's never easy, and to be honest, the deadline that they gave people was so short that everyone was rushing in between like one day,
Mm.
and that is insane. Overall, it's everyone's now been happy, and obviously you've got lockdowns with if you do come back, you've got 2 weeks of isolation. That's not
Fine.
bad for people if you can work from home, though. Don't you agree?
Yeah, yeah. If you can work from home, that's fine. But
Hmm.
if you're like retail or restaurant service, that's 2 weeks of you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extra
So
2 week vacay, but I'd honestly just want to get back to work.
yeah, that's what I would like. So obviously, I've kind of almost written off this year now of like holidays. Even if I was to go anywhere, just on the safety side, is even if it was like a day trip out, I would be nah. I don't want to risk it.
That's not worth it. And obviously, schools are starting to go back, aren't they?
Yeah,
In Scotland, they've been back what 2 weeks or something stupid like that, and there's already 19 new cases in schools.
yeah,
In
because
one school, I think it's either Aberdeen or Dundee, one of those schools, one of those areas. So they've had to shut the school after 2 weeks.
yeah, that's the thing that I'm worried about. It's like the thing is, everyone thinks everyone can go out and there'll be no cases, but there's always is going to be those few cases out there
Yeah.
because as it's a virus, it is going out. But obviously, it is good that schools are going back because it does help people and families that need. to go back.
Exactly. It also starts giving the kids structure again.
Hmm.
Because, yeah, we want the kids to have, freedom to grow and do all those
Hmm.
things, but they, you don't actually realize how important a good structure is.
Yeah.
Like, things can slip away from you so easily. I know, thanks to the structure I've set myself,
Hmm.
I can do things on time and I can get things done properly. Like, get a podcast out every other
Yeah.
week. I can make sure I've got enough time to do my stream twice a week and all that
Hmm.
sort of thing. Structure is really important.
Yeah, I get that. That's the unfortunate thing that happened to me because obviously I went a bit like stressed about obviously with what was happening to everyone's jobs around the country and that. I always got worried. So my fitness kind of got slightly backtracked because it was like, do I want to do fitness? Do I want something I enjoy to get my mind away from it?
Hmm. Yeah. No,
So obviously, yeah,
my fitness has, done all right. I mean, I'm the
hmm,
lightest I've been in years.
that's good.
Yeah. So progress made everywhere. And
Yeah, I've started getting back on track. So
yeah,
I've started going back to so where I did overeat at some point and didn't do it. Now I'm starting to go back down and control what's happening. So the new thing I'm doing, what I did years ago, was cut down a lot on the carbs that I take.
mm,
So I'll still have maybe a high quantity in carbs in one day, but at least in like I'll have more salads as long as I've got some type of meat or something like cheese maybe to mix into it to
yeah,
bring
you
it
need
up.
a protein.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, my focus has mostly been on calorie control.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not counting. I don't
Mm.
count because some things I eat don't have calories on the box.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be really you don't eat stuff that you think, but then you do burn it off. So I've not counted because I wouldn't be able to eat some of the things that I enjoy.
Yeah, and I am not going to eat things I don't enjoy. So you know, I kind of just see what I enjoy, and I just do better quantity of it, like
Mm.
just less or more controlled. Or
Yeah,
I goes, I'm gonna have my usual dish, but I'm gonna lower the unhealthy stuff and replace it with more of the healthy stuff, which is already on the plate, which I like.
which is very good, and that's also what I've started like restricting what I have because as much as I like food and I do, but it's like now that I've started reducing what I take, obviously I'm eating and later on I start feeling full. Whereas, as you know, you don't feel full straight away depending on what
No,
you're having.
it takes a little while.
Mm. So I've always made sure to drink something beforehand to fill up the stomach.
Yeah, and drinking plenty of water or squash really helps.
Mm. But one good news that has happened is that obviously we tweeted about it a couple of weeks ago that my I had some problems with the computer, but I'm all back, all ready to go. Managed
Yeah,
to get another card come through.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah. Your computer's back up and running, which is great news. So
Mm.
hopefully that means you'll be doing one of your videos for the channel pretty soon.
Yes, I will start be publishing more on the side channels now because my obviously I do play console, but I try and take off the gameplay and put it on. And got a little gadget that I'm trial and erroring with. Unfortunately, one thing got corrupted, so I'm gutted because that was a good video, but I can't get it off because
Oh.
corruption is pain.
You're not the only one who's had video trouble lately.
Mm.
I mean,
Oh, it's rough.
I don't know if you caught my latest stream,
Ah,
but
yes.
oh my lord. Obviously I go on full screen mode on my computer so
Mm.
I can play on Sundays I play Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And last Sunday I I logged onto a stream and it was a quiet one. It was just me for a good portion of the time.
Mm.
No one told me that my Twitch studio hadn't picked up my Minecraft because I was in full screen. So all the people were seeing was an arrow moving around the Mojang screen. and me just muttering to myself for like an hour and a half.
It was entertaining. It
Yeah,
was.
but then you came on and actually just went, mate, you can't actually see what you're doing.
It's just like mice, like almost like you photoshopied like pictures of like a mouse just all the time. And like I was seeing one there, I thought, is this a new game that I'm not sure about? Like find where this mouse is tracking because it was like so many and it created a shape. And I was thinking, is this a new art project that I don't know?
No, but I think it happened for so long because my usual watcher Nat, she couldn't make the stream. She was
Uh,
tied up with something else, and normally, she comes on at the beginning and she's there, and I get the stream going,
hmm,
and she's like the admin of my stream. So
yes.
like when I'm too busy doing things, she will monitor the trolls.
Hmm,
She will, she keeps the conversation going. And she talks, and she goes, "Mate, this music doesn't work so well." She's a really good friend. She watches really well, and
hmm.
so yeah, she she wasn't there, and my stream suffered a little bit for it. But she made it up for me on Monday night. Yeah, she said, I have to do a forbidden stream in honor of missing Crispy's stream.
Oh, that's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, it was really cool, and she made it basically a Minecraft death stream where she was
Oh,
just finding different ways to kill herself.
so
So
it's like
she,
that movie, a hundred ways or a thousand ways to
yeah,
die.
well, she managed to kill herself 13 times.
Oh, that's the lucky
I,
or unlucky number.
that was the perfect number. She was just like, "Has anyone been keeping track?" And I just went, "Hang on, yeah, yeah, you've died 12 times." You went, "Well, I've got time for one more." So 13 times she died, and she was killed by a zombie, shot by a skeleton, fell off a cliff, burnt in lava. I'm gonna mention she was poisoned to death by a pufferfish.
Ooh,
Yeah, she drowned, and she swam in lava.
fair
I think
enough.
there's a few others, blown up by a creeper and all that.
Hmm.
But every time she tried to die and she didn't, she would give us a sad fact. And every time that she did die, she would give us a happy fact or a fun fact.
That's fair.
And it was actually really funny.
Hmm.
Like, and the amount of time she goes, I deserve this death because I missed Crispy's stream. I like, she mentioned it so often. I was just like, oh my God, I forgive you.
Oh, it's like you've become a prophet.
I know she counts me as a celebrity. I'm just like,
Oh, that's good.
this girl, I'm seeing her. Well, if you listen to this podcast as it's released, I am actually with her at the
Oh yeah,
moment
you're going.
because I'm
Right.
seeing her on Saturday. At the time of this recording, obviously, I'm not seeing her yet. And if you're listening to this in the future, I saw her the day that this was released, and it was probably a great day.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing as well is that with the weather now, it's not going to be too hot and sweaty.
Exactly, and we've got a plan made. We're going to IKEA.
I've never been, but I wish you the
Me
best of luck
neither.
because I've heard a lot of stories.
Exactly, and I'm gonna actually save that for the next podcast.
That is worth doing
The
for
trip to
sure.
London and IKEA. So
As I say, especially like I think because like you got the smaller ones, and then obviously London's going to have the
the bigger
crazy big.
ones.
But
So
it's
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be
oh
it's gonna be a good day. You know what, Mark? You know what I find really interesting sometimes?
oh what's that?
How people cover songs.
Oh yeah, that is actually interesting.
Because there are so many different covers out there.
Hmm.
Some do like what I do is I do quite a literal cover. I just get the backing and I sing it.
Hmm.
I might lower it to my key a little bit,
Hmm.
but I just do the basic cover simply because my music skills at the moment aren't that great. And then there's people who will do literal covers where take they edit it so it's their own style.
Yeah, I watched quite a few of them actually.
Like I'm particularly fond of the covers that Caleb Hiles and Jonathan Young do.
Oh yeah, because especially like with Jonathan, I like the Under the Sea, the rock version.
Yeah, he does rock versions of Disney songs. He does a really good Be Our Guest,
Hmm.
and he's got a really nice growl to it in certain parts. And Caleb has got some of my favorite covers, full stop.
Yeah, because you actually got me into watching his videos because before I never heard of it.
Yeah, which is incredible considering his cover of Let It Go went viral.
Hmm.
And like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, it was a good long time ago. It went
Yeah,
viral.
it is. I'll think with that film actually.
2013.
Hmm.
I'm sure Frozen came out in 2013. And he's done a couple more Frozen covers since, and he just nails it. But I'm also thinking of people that just like the smaller people that do covers as
Oh
well,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you
You got
think
like
they've
TikTok
got
that
like
do that.
so much potential early
Hmm.
on. You just can't wait for them to like get like noticed more.
Hmm. The hidden talents that are still locked away.
Exactly. I know a few. Um, some of them it's because they're not on like social media as much,
Ah, I see.
and you're just
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't you be? Like, I'm on it. I know I'm not the biggest person or the best,
Hmm.
but I'm enjoying what I do. Um, but where was I going? These people, they can do it so much better than I ever could, and they're just nervously singing on the stage. I'm like, I just all you need is just like someone just to give you that little push,
Yeah.
and I reckon they could be amazing.
Yeah,
Because
'cause that's what it comes down to. It is the confidence, and that's kind of what can happen with social media. Because I mean, you've been aware, obviously, you've got people that try and troll you.
mm,
So that's what I think. Because some people's confidence, they're good singers, but their confidence ain't high. They're too scared to go on social media where it's too much.
yeah, whereas that's why I'm quite happy with social media, where you can now just turn off comments.
Yeah, which is brilliant for some
You
people,
can
and
turn
it's
off
good.
comments. Even on Twitter, you can stop people from replying.
Mm,
And like, yeah, if you don't like people trolling you, you can just turn that off and just work on the replies.
mm.
But speaking of people that don't have a lot of confidence, there's some I know that they're really sure they've written their own songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've met a couple. They've written their own songs,
Mm.
but and you can tell that they've got so much pride in their work, but their anxiety or their nerves stop them from giving it their all.
I see. I see. So what they would need maybe is someone there to sing them, obviously sing the song, so they might be better as more of a songwriter.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you go to Rocket Man, obviously there was the story between the
Yeah,
writer and the
then
singer.
yeah, you've got Elton John's writer,
Hmm.
who disgracefully I can't remember his name. I think it's Benny.
Yes. Yes.
Um, obviously that you got Benny who wrote a lot of the songs that Elton John sings, because
Hmm.
Benny was the writer, Elton was the singer, or
Yeah.
Reggie was the singer.
Yeah. Like and like obviously Benny could also sing it as well. Obviously Elton really pushed it, so
Yeah,
that's maybe what some people need. They need someone there to sing it, and then you can always see your vision of where you want it to go.
exactly. I sometimes feel like that's what I need to do with my songwriting.
Hmm.
Because I've written a few songs now. I've just finished one which goes,
Oh.
yeah, it goes up. Well, it went up yesterday. It
Hmm.
goes up on Friday, the 28th of August.
All right.
Um, yeah, it's up live,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I listen to myself sing. I think I do an all right job or a good job on it. But then I hear other people sing, and I'm like, "Oh, you would sing this song so much better than I would."
I see, yeah. So you
But
can
I haven't got
admire
the
the talent.
nerve to go to someone. I would like you to sing this song.
That is, yeah, that can be a bit nerve-wracking, I would admit.
So I've got the anxiety on the other side.
Mm.
Like, I've got a lot less nerve about singing my own stuff than I would asking someone else to sing it.
So obviously going with that, which do you prefer doing? Obviously, I know you like to sing, but when it comes to writing and the singing, what have you enjoyed more now that you've written more songs?
Um, that's a good question. Ooh. I think I still prefer singing more at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might change as I learn more about songwriting.
Mm.
Because at the moment, I'm just like a lyricist. Like, I will write the lyrics and I will like make a rough melody.
Mm-hmm.
But as I learn how to, properly songwrite, make the melody, choose what instruments to make the backing and all that sort of thing, I think I'll fall in love more with songwriting.
I get that, yeah. Because I mean, a couple of years ago when I used to write stories and stuff, and I used to read them. Obviously, I preferred to read because I would usually struggle with writer's block of how to capture the idea.
Yeah.
But then I did always think, you know how like you've got these audio books and such.
Yeah.
I always thought if I thought about it then, I could have told or not songs, but told tales of the stories, and that would have given more of an idea because obviously there's writing and there's speaking. If you speak it, you can get people to see where you're going.
Yeah.
So I thought if I only did that, I probably would have kept up with a lot of the story writing that I used to do.
It's never too late to start again.
No, it's what I am tempted of actually starting trying to get back into it because I do like stories. I took my hand at drawing and trying to add things, but it just wasn't kicking off as much. But story writing and maybe talking about it, that's what I enjoy about games. Um,
Yeah,
games,
you're a
you write
real,
your own story.
yeah, you're really into your storytelling.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for Cyberpunk that comes out in November.
Mm.
Um, and what I'm looking forward to is there is obviously the Avengers game coming out. Depending on what people have ordered it, it's either they can play it on the 1st of September or the 4th, which would be the Friday.
Mm.
And you basically are, it's a different timeline altogether, and you're building up the adventures. And it looks so cool because you can play as the Hulk early off. And that was my favorite character when I was young. And I really wanted a game where it brought it into the future.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
Hmm. It's like you could just like Hulk smash, Hulk just throw it, and you've even got the clap, and it's brilliant. And it's like I've not played it, but I'm waiting for it, and I just think I'm gonna have good fun.
If you like our content, please consider supporting us on Ko-fi. Right now, folks, we've had a couple of big segments, but we've got some other smaller things we would like to just to talk about between ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we're just going to call this the casual catch-up segment. I know Mark wants to start us off with a little bit of sad and a little bit of happy news all in one. So I'm going to
Yeah,
let him kick us off with that.
yeah. So obviously I'll start off with sad because that's always better, and then goes into happy. So obviously a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, one of my cats out of my two passed away, unfortunately, due to health concerns, which came at such a shock because it was like diabetics, but it was out of control, so nothing was working for her. So he would seem healthy, and then he was really deteriorating. And the good thing is, at least I was managed to come back off the vessel and spent at least 24 hours before we had to make the call and be like, unfortunately, he has to go. Never an easy thing. And one of my longest living animals. I mean, I'm rarely that I cry, but unfortunately I did over the loss of him. I felt more obviously for his brother that I've still got, because he's Ray, but he's Australian. However, there is some good news. We decided then, because of we need to get him some companionship. We've got two new kittens. They are little devils, massively little devils. They love to play. They go after my feet. They go after other people's feet. And it's like sometimes it's an ambush. Like you're just walking through the door and like they jump out of a chair. And it was just so much good. At some point, if I can get a really good picture, which surprisingly they do, I'm going to start posting it on our Twitter and also our Instagram to keep people up to date.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I thought it would be a nice little touch to see more include my life into our Insta, if you know what I mean, Chris.
And who doesn't love cute little kittens?
Yeah.
I mean, I sorry again to hear about your loss, because you were talking to me at the time.
Yeah.
I know that you were going through a rough patch with it, and I'm sorry I can't, because of this pandemic, I couldn't actually be there physically for you. But you said at the time it was actually better to do what you did and put them down safely.
Yeah.
Or at that moment before his health got so bad that he would have just been permanently miserable.
Yeah, it's never an easy call.
No, but
you've got to think.
But at the end of the day, you did what you thought was right for him to, lessen the suffering.
Yeah.
So, what was the little fella's name again?
So it was Bramble.
Bramble
was the one.
So,
and he lived up to the name because if you wanted to fight or like click onto it, the little claws did go in.
So, a moment of respect for Bramble. So after that, R.I.P. Bramble, we're gonna move on to the next topic we had, which was
we are going to talk about films we are looking forward to in the future.
Ah, yes, we are.
So what we have got is obviously this year has been different. Me and Chris love seeing films, and we usually go with our friends to go watch it at The View.
Yeah, we would go with Scott or Max or both or neither. We would see it was mostly action or action comedy or comic books. We did have sort of a theme going on.
Yeah, and then we were thinking about branching out, like watching more of like some of the Disney ones, because obviously we watch so much action. But the couple of films that we were interested in watching was going to be Black Widow.
Yeah, and we're also interested to see the new Batman film with Robert Pattinson.
Yes,
because that trailer just dropped recently, and he's going to be taking on the Riddler,
which is a nice twist because obviously the Joker does get a bit boring. I hate to say.
Yeah, because we've had Suicide Squad's Joker, we've had the Lego Joker, we had Joker the movie, and we've had Heath Ledger's Joker, all within the past 11 years. But the only Riddler we can say we've had like the Lego Riddler, but he didn't really do much.
No.
But the last Riddler we properly had was in Gotham, the TV series, where I don't think we've had an on-screen Riddler, not a proper one, probably since Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I think.
Not a big, movie screen.
And it was never a big role. It wasn't as much.
No, he wasn't a main villain, but he was there. He was definitely an antagonist for a while. So it'd be good to see this one.
And the thing is, what he's interested in is that because he likes to play games with the riddles, and obviously it is life and death, but he's not. He likes to put people in bad positions, but he wants to see how they react, which I thought was quite interesting. Because like he would be brilliant if he was an anti-hero, but unfortunately, he comes more as evil as such.
Exactly, and it's just going to be really interesting to see how it plays off.
I mean, I mean, depending on what they do for like costume, because a lot of the time he wears like quite smart like suit wears.
Hmm. You either get smart suit wear Riddler, or you get bright green suit with question marks on him Riddler.
Hmm.
I would say I'd quite happily if he wore like a really smart suit, but wore like a black bowler hat with like a dark green question mark.
Ooh, well,
That
that'd be
would be a
quite good.
really smart sort of look.
Hmm.
I'm guessing by the way the trailer looks, they
Hmm.
all look quite smartly dressed in it. So I
I
think
I
that'd be
reckon you
nice.
would make a good Riddler, Chris. You could like put the hat on, get the good appearance. The
No,
beard would work quite nicely.
I think I'd work better as Penguin.
Ah, fair. Fair enough.
Yeah, because he likes the cold, but he's not quite Mister Freeze or Doctor
No.
Freeze. No,
Mm.
he appreciates the finer things in life. Also, he's a bit
Yeah.
of a mama's boy if you watch Gotham.
Mm. The thing is, that's the interesting thing about it. Is like the series is obviously there is a new one that's taking place just as the Butler, and how his tale started. I can't remember when they said the release was going to be.
Well, it's something we can look at and look into.
Hmm. I mean, good series. We've always liked. I mean, Agents of Shield.
Yeah, I'm still in season one.
I was a couple of weeks ago, and then I caught up.
Uh, I'm currently going through The Office, the UK version,
Mm-hmm.
upon recommendation from Glenn and Nat. I have a I have a bet. No, I have a deal with Natalie that I watch the UK Office and she watches Avatar: The Last Airbender
Oh, it's so
because she
good.
hasn't seen it.
It's so good.
It's amazing. So
Mm.
that's our deal. So I'm about halfway through season one.
How many seasons have you got to go through then?
Quite a few.
Oh, all right.
The UK Office goes on quite a while.
Damn.
So it's going to take me a while to get through it. But,
Mm.
I'm like watching an episode or so just before bed, sort of thing.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. So once I've done that, it'll be something else,
Hmm.
obviously.
I mean, what would be interesting as well is that later on in some of our podcasts, we're going to start inviting people up to it.
Talking about bringing people in, Mark. That
Yep.
reminds you of what I was talking to you about earlier today before we recorded.
Hmm.
And obviously, something we've brought up in my streams before is that later on in the series, either from next episode or maybe a couple after that, we're going to start actually bringing in guests to the show.
Hmm.
We've got like a couple of people we want to ask, and we're hopefully going to get them to talk about things that they're really into.
Yeah, which is quite a good point because that is what we would like. We do want to, because obviously, as much as you love hearing our lovely voices
Sometimes a change in voice can be quite pleasant. And
and someone else's opinion.
exactly, we've got quite an interesting friend group.
Hmm.
Between myself and Mark, we can definitely muster up. Obviously, we're going to get people we've mentioned already on the podcast in.
Hmm.
Well, we're going to try anyway.
Yeah.
Whether or not they'll say yes is another thing. But like, we got a friend who's really political. We've got a friend who's really good at like computers and coding.
Hmm.
We've got a gamer sort of friend who isn't Mark.
Yep.
We've got an animal nut. And
Oh,
we've
of
got an
course.
extreme introvert.
Hmm.
And that's just mentioning a few of them.
And the thing is, it doesn't have to be like wide groups. You might just see these come on a regular basis, and it's just a nice flow.
Exactly. And also, as we grow as a podcast, we're going to start inviting people who we may not actually know that well.
Hmm. Fresh canvas, as they say.
Exactly. And obviously, I think that'll be quite funny content that we could make.
Yeah, it will be quite nice, and it's a good way of doing it. It's what some podcasts do.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the David Tennant podcast, and he interviews different people.
Ah.
Uh,
I've been listening to True Geordie quite a lot because he's quite funny.
I also listened to the Brizzy Voices and Tessa Netting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, mystical geeks and where to find them, or something along those lines.
Well, that sounds
It's
interesting.
it's, it's a geek podcast, heavily based around Harry Potter, but they do talk just geek things in general, and it's just really sweet and funny.
Hmm. Which is quite a good point because it's got such a culture. If you think about it.
Exactly.
So, everybody, if you remember, I introduced to the lovely BarCast is jingles. Now, I brought it on, and I didn't expect it to last as long as we're doing it,
I know this
and
is the fourth one.
it's now become a major feature. Mine, I'm struggling with to try and keep up with Chris over here.
I've done one all right. Calm
Yeah,
yourself.
he's done one, but it's blown mine away. So, obviously, I did mine last. Mine was very on the spot because I couldn't think. I had like writer's block, songwrite. So I leave it in the hands of Chris for this one.
Right. This is a little less on the spot. I did just about think of this before the podcast. Being a Disney kid, I watched a lot of things on Disney and Disney XD. So I watched Phineas and Ferb,
Oh yeah.
and I've based this one off of the Doctor Doof jingle that you'd hear pretty much every episode.
Hmm.
So this is going to be nice, short, and simple. A good old-fashioned jingle, but BarCast where we talk about things.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, just a short jingle.
I like that. That would be a good intro, actually.
Yeah, it's just like a little short jingle.
Hmm.
I didn't have a lot of time to think about it this time, so that's what I
But
got.
that's what you need. It is the small or the one-liners that make a good jingle.
Exactly, and Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated, the little jingle there, I love it.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I look forward to if anyone wants to comment on our jingles and if they have maybe a recommendation on what we could do.
yeah, we're always up for new ideas.
Hmm.
Or
Always hit us up on our Twitter and also our Instagram because either myself or Chris, I'm always on it. Even when I'm away at sea, I'll still be able to read what you guys post.
And the best thing is he works nights sometimes, so if
Mm.
I'm asleep, he will catch it.
Yep.
So that is really useful.
Hmm.
So, we almost have like a 24/7 sort of surveillance on our social medias. If
Which is
not,
important.
yeah, if not, one of us will get you as soon as we wake up. Well, maybe
Hmm.
not as soon as, give us time to wake up. But yeah, and also, hit us up on our Discord. The link can be found in our link tree on our bios on both
Mm-hmm.
Twitter and Insta. Like, we will listen, we will talk, and we look forward to hearing from you.
And there's always good ideas. I mean, we post a lot of our own work. If we're doing if we've played a new game or if we've done new drawings or even if someone just wants to chat about what they've done lately.
Yeah, just hit us up. We'll be happy to talk.
So obviously, folks, this has been quite a nice podcast. Now, our next one, we're going to be releasing on the 12th of September.
I know, it's going to be September.
Yeah, it's hard to think, isn't it, this year?
Yeah, that guy from Green Day is just about to go to bed for a month. And we'll have to wake him up when September ends. It's all right, I couldn't help myself.
Oh, I get that, my friend.
Someone get Evanescence to wake him up at the end of the month.
Oh, you can. But yeah, so folks, obviously that will be our next podcast. And if you do have any suggestions, as I've always said, hit us up. And we're always happy to try and bring a topic that we think we can. And we've always got our views. I mean, me and Chris don't always agree with everything we talk about.
No, We don't. We
No.
might prove that one day. But for now, we'll catch you later.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.